You know, I was sitting in a seminar years ago when someone asked me, Jim, if you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be? And without hesitation, I said, do the hard things every single day and don't you dare stop. See, most people are waiting for some grand moment, some lightning bolt from heaven that's going to transform their life overnight. They're looking for the secret, the shortcut, the magic formula. But let me tell you something that might disappoint you at first, then liberate you forever. There is no secret. The miracle you're looking for is hidden in the monotony of daily discipline. It's in doing the same hard things today that you did yesterday, and doing them again tomorrow, and the day after that, until those hard things become as natural as breathing. That's where lives change. Not in the spectacular moments, but in the small, boring, unglamorous repetition of difficult tasks that nobody applauds. Here's what I've learned after all these years of studying success and working with thousands of people. Life operates on a principle I call the compound effect. You've probably heard the story about the penny that doubles every day for 31 days. On day 1, you have a penny. Day 2, 2 pennies. Day 3, 4 pennies. Most people would look at that after a week and say, this is ridiculous. But the person who understands compound interest, who understands how life really works, they keep going. By day 20, they've got about $5,000. By day 31, they've got over $10 million. The magic wasn't in day 31. The magic was in every single day, especially the days when it looked like nothing was happening. Your life works exactly the same way. The hard things you do today, the disciplines you practice when nobody's watching, they're compounding. You just can't see it yet. And that's where most people lose the game. Right there. They quit 3 feet from gold because they can't see the accumulation happening beneath the surface. I remember when I was 25 years old, broke, with nothing but pennies in my pocket and promises I couldn't keep. I had a family to feed, bills stacking up, and dreams that seemed to mock me every time I looked in the mirror. Then I met a mentor, a man who would change the entire trajectory of my life. He didn't give me money. He didn't give me a job. He gave me something far more valuable. He gave me a philosophy. He said, Jim, you don't need to do some extraordinary thing to turn your life around. You need to do ordinary things extraordinarily consistently. He told me to read every day, 30 minutes minimum. He told me to work on my communication skills every day. He told me to save 10% of every dollar I earned, no matter how small that dollar was. He told me to exercise my body every day, even if it was just a walk around the block. These weren't sexy disciplines. They weren't going to make me rich tomorrow. But he looked me dead in the eye and said, do these same hard things every single day for 5 years and your life won't even be recognizable. The truth is, I didn't believe him at first. How could something so simple, so mundane create massive change? But I was desperate enough to try. So I started reading every single day. Some days I was tired. Some days I didn't want to. Some days I'd rather have watched television or gone to bed early. But I did it anyway. And you know what happened? Nothing. At least not right away. After 30 days, I wasn't rich. After 60 days, I wasn't famous. But something was happening that I couldn't quite measure yet. My vocabulary was growing. My thinking was expanding. Ideas were connecting in my mind that had never connected before. I was becoming a different person. 1 page at a time, 1 day at a time. And here's the beautiful part. That same discipline applied over 5 years didn't just change my income. It changed everything. It changed how I saw the world, how I solved problems, how I communicated, how I showed up in every area of my life. See, the market doesn't care about your intentions. The market doesn't reward effort. The market rewards results. And results come from the daily disciplines that most people aren't willing to do. You want to know why some people succeed and others don't? It's not intelligence. Some of the smartest people I know are broke. It's not education. I've met plenty of educated derelicts. It's not even opportunity. We all have access to the same 24 hours. The same books, the same information. The difference is in the daily routine. Successful people do daily what unsuccessful people do occasionally. That's it. That's the whole secret right there. The successful person exercises every day. The unsuccessful person exercises when they feel like it, which means almost never. The successful person saves and invests every single paycheck. The unsuccessful person saves when there's money left over, which means almost never. The successful person works on their skills and personal development every single day. The unsuccessful person goes to a seminar once a year and wonders why nothing changes. Let me tell you something that might sting a little bit, but you need to hear it. Easy choices, hard life. Hard choices, easy life. Every time you choose the easy thing, the comfortable thing, the path of least resistance, you're making your future harder. Every time you hit that snooze button, instead of getting up to work on your goals, you're choosing a harder life. Every time you spend money instead of saving it, you're choosing a harder life. Every time you skip the workout, avoid the difficult conversation, put off the studying, ignore the opportunity to grow, you're making deposits into an account called hard life. And that account compounds too, just like the good disciplines do. The interest on laziness, procrastination, and excuse making comes due, and when it does, it's brutal. But here's the good news. You can start making different deposits today, right now, this very moment. You can start doing the hard things, and those hard things will compound into an easy life, a life of options, a life of financial independence, a life of health and vitality, a life of meaningful relationships and personal satisfaction. I've watched this principle play out thousands of times in my own life and in the lives of people I've worked with. I remember a young man who came to one of my seminars, desperate to turn his life around. He was in debt, out of shape, and his relationships were falling apart. I gave him the same advice my mentor gave me: pick a few hard things and do them every single day without fail. He decided on 3 things. Every day, he would read for an hour about his industry and personal development. Every day, he would make 10 sales calls, even when he didn't feel like it, even when he got rejected 9 times. And every day, he would walk for 30 minutes and eat 1 healthy meal. That's it. 3 hard things. Nothing fancy, nothing complicated, just the same 3 disciplines, day after day after day. Do you know what happened? After 6 months, he called me and said, "Jim, nothing's really changed yet. I'm still struggling." I told him, keep going. The harvest doesn't come in the same season as the planting. So he kept going. After 18 months, he called me again. This time, his voice was different. He'd lost 40 pounds. He'd read 27 books and his knowledge had exploded. And because he'd made those calls every single day, he'd gotten good at sales. Really good. His income had tripled. The compound effect had kicked in, and his life was unrecognizable from where it started. But here's what most people miss. You cannot negotiate with the law of the harvest. You can't plant in the spring, go on vacation in the summer, and expect to reap in the fall. Life doesn't work that way. Farming teaches us everything we need to know about success. There are seasons, and each season has its own responsibilities. Spring is for planting. You can't skip spring. You can't say, "I'm not in the mood to plant today, I'll plant tomorrow." Because if you miss the spring, there will be no harvest in the fall. No amount of hoping, wishing, or positive thinking will create a harvest if you didn't plant the seeds. And here's another thing about farming. You can't cram. You can't neglect your crops for 6 months and then work really hard for 2 weeks and expect a full harvest. The work has to be consistent. The care has to be daily. You can't neglect your health for 10 years and then work out hard for 2 weeks and expect to be fit. You can't ignore your finances for a decade and then save aggressively for a month and expect to be wealthy. You can't neglect your relationships for years and then have 1 good conversation and expect everything to be perfect. The same hard things, done daily. That's the formula. And I emphasize same because that's where the power is. You see, it's easy to do something once. It's even easy to do something when you're motivated, when you're excited, when you're fired up from a seminar or a book or a conversation. But what about day 47 when the excitement is worn off? What about day 112 when you're tired and you don't see results yet? What about day 300 when doing that hard thing has become so boring that you could do it in your sleep? That's when champions are made. That's when character is built. That's when the compound effect really starts to work its magic. Because it's the repetition, the monotonous consistency that creates mastery. It's doing the same thing over and over until it's no longer hard, until it's just who you are. I built my entire fortune on reading 30 minutes every single day. Some people hear that and they think, that's it? That's the big secret? Yes, that's it. But here's what they don't understand. I didn't read 30 minutes a day for a week. I didn't read 30 minutes a day for a month. I read 30 minutes a day for decades. And that discipline transformed me from a person who worked with his hands to a person who worked with his mind. It took me from earning poverty wages to earning a fortune. It took me from being a follower to being a leader. It took me from being ordinary to being somebody who could stand on stages and add value to millions of people. But none of that happened because of one day of reading. It happened because of 10,000 days of reading. The same hard thing, done daily, until it became inseparable from who I was. Now, let me address something important, the difference between being busy and being productive. I meet people all the time who tell me they're so busy, they don't have time for the hard things. They don't have time to read. They don't have time to exercise. They don't have time to work on their goals. But when I look at how they spend their day, I see something interesting. They've got time to watch television for 3 hours. They've got time to scroll through social media. They've got time to gossip and complain. They've got time for all the easy things, all the comfortable things, all the things that don't move their life forward. Here's a truth that will set you free if you let it. We all have the same 24 hours. The difference is in how we invest those hours. And make no mistake, it is an investment. Every hour you spend is buying something. The question is, what are you buying? Are you buying progress or are you buying comfort? Are you buying growth or are you buying entertainment? Are you buying the future you want or are you buying temporary pleasure that will cost you everything? I've learned that disciplines weigh ounces, but regrets weigh tons. It takes just an ounce of discipline to save 10% of your income. Just an ounce to read 30 minutes. Just an ounce to go for that walk. Just an ounce to make those calls, to practice that skill, to have that difficult conversation. But the regret of not doing those things, the regret weighs tons. The regret of being broke at 65 because you didn't have the discipline to save when you were 35, that's a heavy burden to carry. The regret of being sick and tired at 50 because you didn't have the discipline to take care of your body in your 20s and 30s, that weighs a ton. The regret of watching opportunities pass you by because you didn't have the discipline to develop your skills and knowledge, that's almost unbearable. So you have a choice, and you're making this choice every single day, whether you realize it or not. You can carry the weight of discipline or you can carry the weight of regret. One weighs ounces, the other weighs tons. Here's another thing I've learned about doing the same hard things daily. Repetition creates resistance at first. Then it creates momentum. When you first start doing something difficult every day, your mind rebels. It says, this is boring, this is pointless, I don't see results yet, let's do something else. That resistance is real and it's strong. This is where most people quit. They feel that resistance. And they think something's wrong. They think maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I should try something different. But that resistance is actually a good sign. It means you're at the doorway to transformation. Because if you can push through that initial resistance, if you can keep doing the hard thing even when your mind is screaming at you to stop, something magical happens. The resistance starts to fade. The discipline starts to feel normal. And then, after enough repetition, momentum kicks in. The same thing that felt hard at first becomes automatic. And once it's automatic, once it's just part of who you are, that's when the real magic happens. That's when you're not using willpower anymore. You're using momentum. And momentum is a powerful force. I think about wealthy people I know, and I think about poor people I know, and the difference isn't in their circumstances. I've met people who started with nothing and became millionaires. I've met people who inherited fortunes and lost everything. The difference is in their daily habits. Wealthy people have wealthy habits. Poor people have poor habits. And I'm not just talking about money, though money is certainly part of it. I'm talking about wealth in every sense. Health, relationships, knowledge, peace of mind. Wealthy people read every day. Poor people watch television every day. Wealthy people invest their money. Poor people spend everything they make and then some. Wealthy people exercise and take care of their bodies. Poor people abuse their bodies and wonder why they feel terrible. Wealthy people work on their skills and increase their value to the marketplace. Poor people blame the economy, the government, their boss, their circumstances. And here's the thing. These aren't personality traits you're born with. These are choices. These are daily disciplines that anyone can adopt. Let me share something that changed my life. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. I tell this to everyone I meet because it's one of the most important pieces of advice I can give. You can work hard on your job and make a living, but if you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune. Your income will rarely exceed your personal development. If you want to earn more, you must learn more. If you want to have more, you must become more. And becoming more isn't a one-time event. It's a daily practice. It's getting up every morning and saying, what am I going to do today to become better than I was yesterday? It's reading, studying, practicing, failing, learning, growing every single day. Make it a non-negotiable appointment with yourself. Just like you wouldn't skip work without a good reason, don't skip your personal development time. That 30 minutes or hour you invest in yourself every day will pay dividends for the rest of your life. Now let's talk about something uncomfortable, because growth requires discomfort. Doing hard things daily means sacrifice. It means saying no to immediate pleasure so you can say yes to long-term success. It means getting up early when your bed is comfortable. It means exercising when you'd rather rest. It means saving money when you'd rather spend it. It means studying when you'd rather be entertained. It means having difficult conversations when you'd rather avoid conflict. It means staying focused on your goals when distractions are everywhere. This is the part of the success formula that nobody wants to talk about because it's not sexy. It's not motivating in the traditional sense. But it's real. And if you're not willing to embrace sacrifice, you're not ready for success. Think about your morning routine. Do you have one? Most people don't. They stumble out of bed, grab their phone, check social media, rush to get ready, grab coffee, and react to the world all day long. But successful people, they have a sacred morning routine. They get up before they have to. They read something that feeds their mind. They exercise their body. They review their goals. They plan their day. They do the hard things first before the world has a chance to interrupt them. That morning routine might take an hour. It might feel like a sacrifice, especially at first. But that 1 hour in the morning sets the tone for the entire day. It's like compound interest for your productivity. You start the day as a winner, and that energy carries through everything else you do. The same principle applies to your finances. I learned early on to pay myself first. Before I paid any bill, before I bought anything, I took 10% off the top and put it in savings. When I was broke, that was hard, really hard. 10% of a small income is still a small amount, and I needed that money, or at least I thought I did. But my mentor told me, learn to live on 90% and watch what happens. So I did. And you know what? I didn't starve. I didn't lose my house. I adjusted. I found ways to live on less. And meanwhile, that 10% was accumulating, compounding, growing. After 5 years, I had created a financial cushion. After 10 years, I had investments generating income. After 20 years, I had wealth. Not because I made a killing on some investment. Not because I won the lottery, but because I did the same hard thing, saving 10% every single time money came in. The discipline of delayed gratification created a life of abundance. Let me tell you about a man I met years ago who understood this principle better than almost anyone I've ever known. He was a salesman, and not a particularly talented one at first. He got rejected constantly. Most people in his position would have quit within a few weeks. But he had a philosophy. He believed in the law of averages. He knew that if he made enough calls, if he talked to enough people, if he consistently showed up and made the effort, eventually the numbers would work in his favor. So he made a commitment. 20 sales calls every single day. Not when he felt like it. Not when he was motivated. Not when the weather was nice or the economy was good. Every single day. Some days he made 0 sales. Some days he got doors slammed in his face. Some days he questioned everything. But he didn't question the commitment. He made his 20 calls. After 6 months, he started to see patterns. He learned what worked and what didn't. After a year, he was making sales consistently. After 3 years, he was one of the top salespeople in his entire industry. After 10 years, he owned his own company. The same hard thing, done daily, even when it was difficult, even when it was discouraging, transformed his entire life. That's the difference between amateurs and professionals. Amateurs do things when they feel like it. Professionals do things whether they feel like it or not. Amateurs are motivated by mood. Professionals are motivated by commitment. Amateurs quit when things get hard. Professionals know that hard is part of the process. If you want to live like a professional, if you want professional results, you have to adopt professional habits. And professional habits are just hard things done with consistency until they become second nature. Here's something else I've learned. Everyone suffers one of two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The pain of discipline is getting up early when you don't want to. The pain of discipline is saying no to dessert when everyone else is indulging. The pain of discipline is making those calls when you'd rather do anything else. The pain of discipline is saving money when you want to spend it. But that pain is temporary. It lasts for a moment, an hour, maybe a day, and then it's over. And it leaves behind something valuable, progress, growth, results. But the pain of regret, that pain is permanent. The pain of looking back at your life and realizing you wasted your potential, that pain never goes away. The pain of watching others succeed while you stood still because you weren't willing to do the hard things that haunts you. The pain of being broke, sick, unfulfilled, and knowing you could have prevented it if you just had a little more discipline, that's a pain that weighs on your soul every single day for the rest of your life. So choose your pain. You're going to experience one or the other. There's no third option. You can experience the light, temporary pain of discipline that leads to an easy life, or you can experience the heavy, permanent pain of regret that comes from an undisciplined life. The choice is yours, and you're making it right now, today, with every decision, every action, every habit. Let me tell you about a woman who attended one of my seminars several years ago. She was overweight, in debt, and trapped in a job she hated. She came up to me during a break with tears in her eyes and said, "Jim, I know what I need to do. I've known for years, but I just can't seem to do it." I asked her what was stopping her, and she gave me all the usual answers. No time, no money, no support, bad genetics, difficult circumstances. So I stopped her and said, let me ask you something. If you keep doing exactly what you're doing now for the next 5 years, where will you be? She thought about it and said, probably in an even worse position. Then I asked, and if you started doing the hard things every day, the things you know you should be doing, where would you be in 5 years? She smiled through her tears and said, in a completely different place. I said, then you already know the answer. The question isn't whether you can. The question is whether you will. She sent me a letter 3 years later. She'd lost 60 pounds by exercising every single day and making one healthy meal choice at a time. She'd read 40 books on personal finance and business, 30 minutes every day, and completely transformed her understanding of money. She'd paid off half her debt by following a consistent savings and debt reduction plan. And she'd started a side business that was growing because she worked on it for an hour every single morning before her regular job. She wrote, "Jim, you were right. It wasn't about some big dramatic change. It was about doing the same small, hard things every day until they added up to a completely different life. I'm not where I want to be yet, but I'm so far from where I was that I barely recognize that old version of myself." That's the transformation I'm talking about. That's what happens when you commit to daily disciplines. Your life 5 years from now is being created by what you do today, not by what you think about doing, not by what you plan to do someday, not by what you wish you could do, by what you actually do today and every day. If you want a different life, you need different daily habits. It's that simple and that difficult. The compound effect works in your relationships too. You can't neglect your marriage or your family for months and then have one good weekend and expect everything to be perfect. Relationships require daily deposits. A kind word, a thoughtful gesture, quality time, active listening. These might seem like small things, insignificant things, but they compound. Do them consistently, and you build a relationship that can weather any storm. Neglect them consistently, and even the strongest relationship will crumble. The same principle applies. The same hard things done daily create extraordinary results over time. Your future is not some distant, abstract thing that will magically appear one day. Your future is being constructed right now, brick by brick, with the choices you make today. Every discipline you practice is a brick. Every book you read is a brick. Every workout is a brick. Every dollar you save is a brick. Every skill you develop is a brick. And day by day, brick by brick, you're building the life you're going to live. The question is, what kind of structure are you building? Are you building something magnificent, something that will stand the test of time? Or are you neglecting the building process altogether, hoping somehow that a beautiful structure will appear on its own? Let me paint two pictures for you. 5 years from now, there are two versions of you that could exist. The first version continued doing what you're doing now. That version didn't embrace the hard daily disciplines. That version chose comfort over growth, entertainment over education, spending over saving, excuses over execution. Where is that version of you? Probably in the same place you are now, or worse. The problems you have today haven't gotten better, they've gotten worse. The dreams you have today are still just dreams, fading a little more each year. The regrets you have today have multiplied. And now you're 5 years older, with 5 fewer years to turn things around. Now let me show you the second version. This version made a decision right here, right now, to start doing the hard things daily. This version got up a little earlier. This version read every day and transformed their knowledge. This version exercised and transformed their health. This version saved and invested and transformed their finances. This version worked on their skills and transformed their value to the marketplace. This version had difficult conversations and transformed their relationships. And now, 5 years later, this version looks back with gratitude instead of regret. This version is living a completely different life, not because of one big break, but because of 1,000 small disciplines practiced faithfully day after day after day. Which version do you want to be? Because that's the decision you're making right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel more motivated or when circumstances are better. Right now. Today is the day your future begins. Today is the day you stop making excuses and start making progress. Today is the day you choose discipline over regret. I want to tell you about the ripple effect, because this is something people don't talk about enough. When you commit to doing hard things daily, when you transform yourself through discipline and consistency, the impact doesn't stop with you. It ripples out to everyone around you. Your children watch you and learn what commitment looks like. Your spouse sees the change in you and feels inspired to grow too. Your co-workers notice your work ethic and raise their own standards. Your friends see your transformation and start asking questions. You become a living example of what's possible. You become proof that ordinary people can achieve extraordinary results through simple daily disciplines. And that example, that proof, might be exactly what someone else needs to believe they can do it too. This is about legacy. What you do today isn't just about you. It's about the mark you leave on the world. It's about who you become and what you pass on to the next generation. If you practice discipline daily, you're not just building your own life, you're teaching others how to build theirs. If you read and grow daily, you're not just expanding your own mind, you're showing others the value of knowledge. If you save and invest daily, you're not just securing your own future, you're creating resources that can bless your family and fund causes that matter. The disciplines you practice in private create results that impact people publicly. The character you build in the hidden moments shapes the influence you have in the visible moments. So let me ask you some direct questions, and I want you to be honest with yourself. What does your current daily routine look like? If you keep doing exactly what you're doing every day right now, will it take you where you want to go? Are your daily habits aligned with your stated goals? Because here's a hard truth. You can't say you want to be wealthy and then spend every penny you make. You can't say you want to be healthy and then eat poorly and skip exercise. You can't say you want to be successful and then waste your time on activities that don't move you forward. Your daily routine is the truth. What you do every day reveals what you really want, regardless of what you say you want. And if there's a gap between your routine and your goals, something has to change. The beautiful thing is, you can change it right now, today. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect circumstances. You don't need a big dramatic life overhaul. You just need to pick one or two hard things and commit to doing them every single day. Maybe it's reading for 30 minutes. Maybe it's exercising. Maybe it's saving 10%. Maybe it's making sales calls. Maybe it's practicing a skill. Pick the hard things that align with where you want your life to go, and then do them today, tomorrow, the next day, and the day after that. Don't break the chain. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait until you feel like it. Just do it. The same hard things every single day until they become part of who you are. There's an old saying, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Maybe you're sitting there thinking, Jim, I wish I'd heard this years ago. I've wasted so much time. I understand that feeling. But let me tell you something. You can't change the past, but you can absolutely shape the future. Yes, it would have been better if you'd started 20 years ago. But starting today is infinitely better than starting never. 5 years from now, you'll be 5 years older regardless. The only question is whether you'll also be 5 years better. And that's determined by what you decide to do starting right now. This is your moment. This is your chance. Not someday, not when things are perfect, not when you've figured everything out. Now, today, choose one hard thing. Do it today. Do it tomorrow. Do it every single day until it becomes automatic. Then add another hard thing and another. And watch as your life begins to change in ways you never thought possible. Because the miracle you're looking for isn't in some secret strategy or hidden knowledge. The miracle is in the compound effect of simple disciplines practiced daily with absolute consistency. Do the same hard things daily, and I promise you, your life will change. Not overnight, not in a week, but it will change. And 5 years from now, you'll look back on this moment as the turning point. The day you stopped waiting and started doing. The day you chose discipline over regret. The day you planted the seed that grew into the life you always wanted.